Hello, and welcome. My name is Rich. This is Champions Online, a superhero MMO based on the Champions pen and paper RPG. This is Technical Issues, an electricity-powered superhero who I am playing as, and we are currently underwater in the Kingdom of Lemuria, which is this universe's version of Atlantis. We were fighting around here last time. This is the wreck of a Russian submarine, the Cherenkov. This is an ancient monument of a pair of hands, like this, with a crystal in the middle. A monument to Priest King Faltra Lem. There we go. This is a Bureau 17 C lab that we're just next to. This is a fight between some Lemurians and Karkaradons. Neither of whom we particularly like, but the Karkaradons, it's worth noting, come from a different universe, a separate reality called Multifaria, which is accessible during an adventure pack, a series of missions. The adventure pack is called Resistance, and, well, it'll be fairly obvious as soon as you get there, but minor spoilers. Multifaria is a universe where everyone's morality is flipped, so heroes in this universe are villains in that, and vice versa. We won't be going there today, though, because adventure packs are quite long, and adding to that, when I'm playing on stream, tend to slow down, take my time, read mission info so that I get the info, or get the story that the game is trying to tell, because that's kind of the point of the stream. It's to absorb the stories that the games I'm playing are trying to tell. And so far, I've only been playing Champions Online, but when I move to other games later, in the same way, I will be slowing down, listening to the story that the game is trying to tell, and commenting on that. We've had... Oops, just remembered. I don't have Twitch chat open. There we go. I've connected to Twitch chat. If anyone has been talking to me in the last 5 minutes, I apologize for not responding. I didn't see you. There we go. So, possible games for the future. Well, certainly I will want to be playing DCUO. But after that, I mean, that's probably going to take me a long time. And it's going to take me a while to finish as much of the story as this game as I can manage solo. So, actually, DCUO is easier to solo. And I think there's less story in it, generally speaking. It's been a while. Certainly you can get to max level faster in DCUO than you can in this. Unless you're really going ham for power leveling in this, in which case, apparently, according to Raven Force, maybe it was, someone else who watches the stream, who also plays the game, told me they'd seen someone do it in 9 hours, which involves just running, what one would it be? An alert, museum heist ripper over and over well, not the museum heist Ripper one, but if one of these has an XP indication here, that means that you get a bonus to XP when you complete it. I think that's a buff that increases XP gains. So currently it's Ripper, there's a rotation of them. And apparently this person just did those back to back for 9 hours and got to level 40, which it's impressive that you could manage to get that far, but at the same time I feel like you're missing out on the experience of the game, although I suppose if you're at the point of power leveling your way to level 40 in 9 hours, you probably have experienced quite a lot of the game anyway. I'm just saying it's not my thing personally, but it's impressive. Boy, you showed up in the nick of time. I'm Van Spellman, but you can call me Buzz. I'm a deep water geologist doing some freelance work for this Bureau 17 Sea Lab. At least I was before all these Karkaradons and Lemurians decided to go to war in our backyard. Frenzy beneath the fathoms. And seafloor sampling. What info? Right, that just tells me that he's a deep water geologist. Okay, exactly the same info as we just got. Hey, Liffy! Now, part of me is wondering whether this guy is a reference to Buzz Lightyear. He does have a big dome on his head, but we're underwater, not in space. And none of his outfit has purple highlights, as you might expect. So I'm leaning probably towards no for now. But if he says anything to do with the infinite or going beyond, then I'm going to go yes, probably. But I'm getting pretty frustrated and a little nervous working in this hostile environment. For some reason, the Karkaradons and Lemurian forces have decided that Bureau 17's Sea Lab is a perfect staging space for war. Any chance I could get you to break it up a bit? Yes, that's fine. There is a series of automatic core drills obtaining geological samples along the bottom of the crevasse that spans the length of the Caligineous depths just east of here. I need the core samples to complete my analysis, but the Karkaradon and Lemurian skirmishing prevents me from retrieving the samples myself. Yeah, it makes sense that would be tricky. Auction not sold. Cool. So I don't need to go into the lab itself, which is kind of a disappointment. I'd quite like to go in and see what the interior design is like. What would be really cool is if they manage to match up interior and exterior. So, you know, you'd have several floors here and a long corridor, and then a room and a corridor coming off to the side. Although, now that I think about it, interior maps tend to be laid out on a square grid. So diagonal passageway like this, I've never seen. They always go in sort of a zigzag. Anyway, we're supposed to be fighting Lemurians and Karkaradons. Luckily, they are, broadly speaking, more interested in one another than they are in me. I can hear combat. Is it from down here? So as long as there are still members of both sides active, I can swim by without drawing their attention. Oh, hey. It's a welder bot. I also need to go, yes, down here to acquire drill bits, but it looks like a radioactive hammerhead shark is interested in the drill for some reason. Way. You know, I'm surprised that the game doesn't call these irradiate sharks, because, or irradiate barracuda, because, like, they don't call the people who have been exposed to radiation in the Southwest Desert radioactive humans, after all. They call them irradiates, that being the faction to which they belong. So why they can't call these irradiate hammerhead shark and irradiate barracuda? I mean, maybe they don't want to imply that they're working together, that the irradiates in the desert might have anything to do, organizationally speaking, with sharks underwater in Lemuria. But I don't know, it would make sense to me. I wouldn't necessarily go, do you reckon they're working together? No, I probably would, actually, thinking about it. I'd comment, I'd be like, hey, hold on a minute. Oh well. Thank you. Maybe now that the skirmishing has subsided a bit, I can finally get some work done. Thank you. These will do nicely. If only there was something more to be done about the skirmishes going on right outside the lab. Well, I mean, it probably is, to be honest. The Lemurian and Karkaradon fighting has had an impact on the sea floor, the flora, and sea lab. All of the concussive forces of war in such close proximity are causing the hull to crack and bend. We have a welder bot for repairs, but it keeps shutting down to protect itself. See if you can relieve some of the pressure. Protect the welder bot on its reconstructive rounds. It has deactivated just outside of a sea lab, but you can manually override it. That was the welder bot that we met down here. Little orb guy. We've lost contact with the Aegir communicators again. Darn things need so much maintenance. Each day they run out of power or spring a leak, and I'm sure the sea creatures aren't helping any either. At any rate, we're deaf and blind up here to the plots of the abyss dwellers without those communicators. Head down the crevasse to Rastrinfhar's abyss and find one of the Aegir communicators. Technical issues. Get them back online. Okie dokie. So this is going to be an escort mission, looks like. Hopefully there won't be any bleep buzz whir. Hopefully there won't be any surprise ambushes. Activating the welder bot will set it in motion to repair Bureau 17 Sea Lab. The welder bot is programmed to retreat and deactivate it if it suffers too much damage. Protect the welder bot and ensure the integrity of the undersea laboratory. Okie dokie. I wonder how much, what length its patrol is going to be. How How much repair work does it need to do? Its pathing's not very good, is it? Ah, it needs to find all the places that have...
Plasma welding to commence. Danger. Structural compromise detected. Hull breach imminent.
It needs to find all the locations with bubbles coming out of them.
Tungsten electrode jets. Plasma welding to commence.
And it looks like this mission will have randomly well, not randomly, but spawning ambushes, which is kind of a pain. Where are you going, friend?
Initiating tungsten electrode jets. Plasma welding to commence. Danger. Structural compromise detected. Hull breach imminent. Initiating tungsten electrode jets. Plasma welding to commence.
Hopefully there won't be repeated waves
Structural integrity restored.
of incoming attacks. That would be a pain.
Initiating tungsten electrode jets. Plasma welding to commence. Initiating tungsten electrode jets. Plasma welding to commence. Weld complete. Structural integrity restored.
Oh, we're over here now. Okay.
Tungsten electrode jets. Plasma welding danger. Structural compromise detected. Hull breach imminent. Initiating tungsten electrode jets. Plasma welding to commence. Weld complete. Structural integrity restored.
How is it welding glass? At least I assume this is glass. It might not be.
Initiating tungsten electrode jets. Plasma welding to commence. Weld complete. Structural integrity restored.
Structural integrity estimated to be 99.4%. That's pretty good. Which sharks do you mean? The panther sharks. They're an invasive species. They're invading the kelp forest and killing off, what sort of fish is it? The kaleidoscope lyre-tail. We had a mission last time to rescue them. Am I still being attacked? Yes. By who? Someone above. Is it these guys? Why would it be these guys? Oh hey Soupframe, how's it going? Welcome. I'm just defending the Bureau 17 C Lab. Thanks again for your help with technical issues. I know a lot of people inside the Bureau 17 C Lab are breathing a sigh of relief as a result of your selfless heroics. Cornered by Karkaradons. We've just received a distress call from Urien Zur, a Lemurian palace guard loyal to Arvad, who is the current king of Lemuria, despite the fact that Arvad is an Empyrene rather than a Lemurian, and there seems to be a quantity of tension between the two factions, quite how Arvad managed to get in place as king or emperor of Lemuria, we haven't seen yet. I don't know. And also, currently, Lemuria is in the throes of a rebellion. So there are some evil Lemurians who have fallen to worship of this universe's version of the devil in combination with Lovecraftian Old Ones, that being the Kings of Edom, or the Bleak Ones, and the rebels, who we don't like. I mean, usually I quite like rebels because there's usually a reason that they're rebelling. But in this case, people, chaps such as this, have fallen under the sway of evil gods and been devolved into a reptilian, water-breathing appearance. And they wish to wipe out all of humanity and return the Earth to dominion under the Old Ones, or the Bleak Ones, which we don't like. We've just received a distress call from Urien Zur, a Lemurian palace guard loyal to Arvad. He has apparently escaped the Mandragora, but is under attack by Karkaradons. His situation is dire, and his life is on the line. Hurry, technical issues. Hurry. Okay then. So, these will be missions. Yeah, here. Wonder why... Oh, right, these are Aegir communicators. Now, is he going to be all the way up here? Or is he going to be in the depths below? It's probably going to be the depths below, isn't it? Because these will be missions that take us into the next area of the map. Because there's quite a lot of it. I wonder why there's so much over here if you can't actually go there. So... Ah yes, here we are. Chappie under threat from Karkaradons. Which, it's odd that they're here. I mean, not odd that shark people are underwater, like in a broad sense, but every other place that you encounter Karkaradons is on land, and it's usually in Multivaria, but generally speaking, when you encounter Karkaradons, it's terrestrial, not aquatic. So the fact that you find them underwater, given the rest of the context in which you find them, is a little bit odd. Anyway, I just escaped from the Mandragora. It's overrun by enemies of Arvad, and I fear my leader may be forced to do something drastic, like activate the superweapon for the first time in thousands of years. It's impressive if they can activate this thing, despite it not being activated in thousands of years. I'll be very impressed with the engineering of it. The Lemurian loyal to Arvad, who's been hiding in the Mandragora along with other Lemurian loyalists. When Lemurian rebels and Karkaradons infiltrated the Mandragora, Zur and some companions were ordered by Arvad to evacuate. So the Mandragora is the Lemurian superweapon, and being that Lemurians are equivalent to, analogous to Atlanteans, the Mandragora is what sank their civilization into the sea. It's the calamity that they built and unleashed upon themselves. Oh, here he is, called Prince Arvad, not King. That's odd. I fled the Mandragora to seek help for Prince Arvad, but these Karkaradons are everywhere. I do not have the strength left to fight through alone. Please help me. Well, okie dokie then. I wonder, I haven't come to Lemuria with a character who has tunneling as a primary travel power. And I wonder what it would be like. Would it be a superior version of teleporting. Or, well, what the game calls teleporting is actually phasing. See, I have gone underwater with a character that has tunneling. I just haven't come to Lemuria. There are a few other places where you can go underwater. And when you enter tunneling mode, because you can move vertically, horizontally, any direction underwater, my memory is that you just become invisible, and that you can traverse vertically, where normally, if you're on land, you just go under the surface of the earth a little way, and you can travel anywhere that's flat enough. Tunneling is useful in that when you are underground, when you are in tunneling mode, you are not targetable by any enemy. So, although oddly, you can still take falling damage. So, for example, if this were not underwater, and I were tunneling here, and I moved over here, oops, he's being attacked by flesh ripper swarms. So if I were tunneling and went off the cliff edge, I would remain hidden and tunneling. Interesting, worth noting that these guys look basically like piranha, except piranha are... oh shit, where's he gone? There we are. Piranha are freshwater fish, and there is no equivalent fish. As far as I'm aware, there is no equivalent saltwater fish that behaves in the same way as piranhas. So obviously they wanted a hazard like this, but couldn't come up with a convincing, an actual animal that does behave that way. Anyway, so I was talking about tunneling. The only reason I know about tunneling, really, is because I built a Street Shark character. Because Street Sharks is one of my favourite cartoons from when I was a kid. So, with tunneling, as long as the surface that you're standing on is flat, you can tunnel into it. So I could tunnel here on this metal somehow. But if I were to move off the edge, I would remain hidden and out of phase with the rest of everything, so I wouldn't be targetable, but I would still fall and take falling damage. Would have fit in well here. Well, yes, perhaps. I mean, he would probably be mistaken for a Karkaradon, except he doesn't have a shark tail. And some of the Karkaradons actually have a fin on the back of their head as well, which is a bit odd. Yes, so I'm curious about whether tunneling would be an OP travel power here, because it might render you completely untargetable. Arvad alone and dethroned. Recommended team 5. I might not be able to manage this solo. We just got word that the Lemuria's deposed king Arvad. Well, hold on. What's his face here? Urin referred to him as a prince, and now he's being referred to as a king. Like, that might... I suppose what's only an explanation could be that... in-universe explanation could be that the two factions or the two groups aren't clear on what exactly his stance or his situation is. So maybe Urin's words should be considered with more weight. Like maybe once he's in exile, he's a prince rather than a king. But the fact that different people are calling him by different titles, as a... what's the other one? Watsonian and Doyleist, out of universe. The Doyleist explanation, or the Doyleist situation, it might be that the different creators of different people writing mission text would just got it wrong. Like, didn't have it clear enough in the notes that Arvad is this rather than that. We just got word that Lemuria's deposed king Arvad has been located. He's taken some loyal subjects and the Bronze King and fled inside the Mandragora, but no one knows why he would do such a thing. Find him and tell him all that has transpired. Be warned, the Mandragora is overrun with the enemy. You will need a full team of 5 heroes to survive this dangerous task. Now, that does worry me, because I have attempted other missions of a similar level that require me to have 5 or 1 to 5 team members, and I have struggled, well, I say struggled, not been able to complete some of them, even ones that I should be over leveled for. Like, there's a mission called Rhinoplasty on Monster Island that I'm now 4 or 5 levels above, or more perhaps, and still can't manage. I've descended a long way very quickly, haven't I? I should be suffering from like, how deep have I gone? I should be suffering from compression sickness. Like, the pressure should be enormous down here, and I should definitely be suffering. Like, my character isn't one that's supposed to be super resilient or anything, either. She's extremely squishy. Come in, technical issues. This is the Aegea. How is everything going down there, technical issues? Conserver power mode activated. Cells. Deep sea transmitter linked to the Until nuclear submarine, the Aegea communications network, built to withstand the tremendous pressure of the deepest ocean depths. Designed by Dr. Silverback, patent pending. Technical issues. Can you hear us? This is the Aegea. Need to find power cells. Reserve batteries. Low. Power running out. Search within the abyss. Then replace power cell. Okay. I'm impressed that so much of the transmission got through. And this has got even more. Can you read me? This is Until Agent David Barron aboard the submarine Clawhammer. I've hacked into Until Broadcast Network, and I don't have much time. I'm a covert special agent, and I have spent the last month infiltrating the crew of modern-day pirate Captain Claw. Recently, Claw raided a cargo ship and found a map to the fabled Madre del Oro pirate treasure cave, lost hundreds of years ago in Rastrinphar's abyss. Hold on a minute. Why would there be a map hundreds of years old to a treasure cave in an undersea abyss? Like, I could understand a cave off the coast that's not too deep, but, or, you know, even on an island somewhere, that would make more sense. Like, it would make more sense if this Madre del Oro pirate treasure cave is somewhere on Monster Island, for example. But no, somewhere in Rastrinphar's abyss. It's hundreds of years old, so predating any human submarine by hundreds of years, because we've only invented working ones in the last 100 years or so. Less, really. Although we probably are coming up on the centenary of real working submarines. We're in 2020 after all. And we had U-boats and stuff in the Second World War, which was, 1940s. Anyway, the dreaded cyborg pirate and his crew is here now. I can't blow my cover, but I have jettisoned a crate with a GPS tracker so you can find Claw. If you can read this message, get to the crate, then find and stop Captain Claw. If he gets a hold of that lost pirate treasure, he's going to use it to expand his operation, creating an unstoppable fleet of submarines and cyborg crewmen which will rule the sea. I dropped the crate around the far southern area of the pirate ship graveyard. Now, I'll get back to what Livy's just said about has magic been around and might have been used by these pirates. I will get back to that. But I want to say, if you created a fleet of submarine pirate vessels, that would attract way more attention than they could deal with, I'm sure. Especially because they have to come up and, get air and restock and have time away from a fucking submarine. Which would severely limit their ports of call. I don't think that it would be viable long term to create a fleet of pirate submarines. I think it would make more sense for Claw to retire on the money he'd get from a treasure trove, especially as just converting the treasure that he finds into fungible assets, like directly translating the gold pieces into, the equivalent value in gold, and somehow finding fences for the other stuff, probably wouldn't actually get you as much money as the trove itself, probably as a whole, on an archaeological basis. Because this is hundreds of years old, this treasure. It should have enormous historical value. Now, and I imagine that, for example, pieces of 8 old Spanish doubloons probably have more value as doubloons than as the constituent parts that make them up. Like, you shouldn't, but you probably could melt the doubloons down to make them easier to fence, but that would destroy an enormous amount of their value. Now, to Livy's question. Let's accept that. But to Livy's question. Now, apparently, the computer game, Champions Online, hasn't explored this, but in the pen and paper RPG lore, magic left the world for a period of a couple of hundred years and was brought back by the Nazis during the Second World War when they were trying to turn the table and not get beaten. And as a result, the first superheroes appeared. These are power cells. Okay. And all the weird stuff started happening. Oh, that's a lot more missions. And as a result, because magic came back, that's why superheroes, well, not just superheroes, I mean, the thing that I'm thinking of is, that's why people don't die from radiation poisoning. They turn into irradiates, they turn into mutants. And instead of just getting radiation poisoning and their cells no longer being capable of supporting life, and you just kind of liquefying with a big enough radiation dose. People in this universe, because of the presence of magic, turn into mutants, which I think is probably better. You're not dead. You might be irreversibly mutated and have your psychology affected so that you are more aggressive and less intelligent, but at least you're not dead. And at least you didn't die in a very horrible, painful way. As a result of magic coming back, however, it has also meant that, for example, tachophanies, or tachophanies, whichever pronunciation would be more correct, the undead necromancer who rises every year on Halloween and causes problems, is an issue now. Although, apparently he went into some kind of magical hibernation a couple of 100 years ago, and so would have been in this magical hibernation during the period where magic was absent from the Earth. So quite how he was supporting himself, magically speaking, during a period where there was no magic, I don't know. Apparently he was reawakened during the 80s by a drilling team, oil drillers, looking for, well, oil, obviously, and has been causing problems since then. But technical issues. We are having a very difficult time mapping parts of the portion of the sea floor in the abyss due to the extreme depth and interference from the volcanic activity. Inside this communicator, you'll find a sonar mapping device. Use in various parts. That should be not just use in various parts of the pirate graveyard area in lower eastern part of Rastrinfhar's abyss. Maybe they're deliberately missing out like pluralization to try and make the message shorter, but you'd think that they'd be more consistent with that across the whole message. You'll need to be close enough to the sea floor. Some of our paranormal sensory equipment has detected activity within the graveyard, so proceed with caution. You mean I might be finding undead pirates in the pirate graveyard? What a surprise. We have a powerful ally in Rastrinfar's abyss, the Atlantean Prince Maris. Well, hold on. There are both Atlanteans and Lemurians. We wish to combine resources with Maris, seek him out and re-establish a connection. Last we heard he was scouting on the Bleak minions near the sea floor, heading towards the Bleak Temple. Oh, that's bad news. Into the bloom. Early in the civil war against Arvad, a Lemurian rebel stole a piece of jewelry with considerable supernatural power from Arvad's palace. He was delivering it to the Temple of the Bleak Ones when he tried to take a shortcut through the jellyfish bloom. Well, that's bad news. That's a bad idea. I've already tried going and sticking my hand in a jellyfish, and it really hurt. Our sensor show the queen jellyfish swallowed him whole, and his remains can be seen in her belly still to this day. That's pretty terrible, isn't it? Not a fate I would wish on anyone. Okay, I was going to complain that the exclamation mark that marks that this has missions was obscured, but it isn't, not entirely. Anyway. The field is high above the ocean floor, approaching the Caligineous depths. Yeah, I already know where that is. The Lemurians are furious at Until for sending superheroes to stop their plans and have begun a ritual to summon a terrible storm that will cause calamitous destruction on the surface world. We're not far from a major shipping channel, which means hundreds of lives will be endangered. Stop the ceremony. It is taking place in the ceremonial area of Rastrinfhar's abyss, behind the Bleak Temple, heading west from the front door. Well, I suppose it makes sense that a ceremony to summon a storm would take place in the ceremonial space. But that's more confirmation that this area should be extremely, like, deadly in terms of pressure. And there's a... what type is it called? I don't remember. Empyrenes, that's the one. Magical constructions built by the Empyrenes, a race of immortals who've been at war with Lemuria for tens of thousands of years. Now, Lemuria has also supposed to have existed for tens of thousands of years, and that is longer than human civilization. Not longer than human existence, which is perhaps 500,000 years, perhaps 250,000 years. But for most of that history, humanity has been hello, chaps. For most of human history, we've been nomadic and subsisting on foraging and hunting. It was only in sort of probably about the last 10,000 years that we settled and started cultivating crops and farmable animals and creating, permanent settlements like towns and cities. So Lemuria and the Empyrenes have apparently existed for however many tens of thousands of years it has been. However many of tens it is, that many times longer than humanity has. As we understand it now, at least, or as we would understand it if we looked upon it. Prince Maurus is the heir to the Atlantean throne, as well as a superhero among the surface dwellers. He is content with his lot in life and determined to do the best job he can as a bridge between the two realms. Thanks to his intelligence, charm, and good looks, he has become an incredibly popular figure among the surface dwellers. Should his sister cause trouble with her villainous ways, he will do his best to contain her and make recompense to her victims. Now, I wonder who his sister is. Bodyguard of Prince Maurus. I didn't realise that there were both Lemuria and Atlantis in this. And I've been saying that Lemuria is this game's equivalent of Atlantis, and it seems I might be wrong. Especially considering that these guys don't look anything like Lemurians in either form, both physically and in terms of the stuff that they're wearing. Salutations, land dweller. I am Maurus, Prince of Atlantis and heir to the throne. Our ancient enemies, the Lemurians, maybe Atlanteans and Empyrenes are the same thing. Oh, that's a shame, Livy. Well, fair enough. I hope that your internet is better. I'm sorry to hear that it's dodgy and that you will have to go, but I hope that you've had a good time so far, and that I will see you again in future streams. Our ancient enemies, the Lemurians, have forged a pact. Well, that should be pact, not pack. The two letters aren't even in similar places on the keyboard. That's just a spelling, like a misunderstanding of the word. A pact with the dark gods known as the Bleak Ones. We must stop them before they have the power to strike both Atlantis and the surface world of man. Although, having posited the idea that Atlanteans are the same thing as Empyreans, Empyreans are supposed to be eternal, immortal, which would imply, if they're the same thing as Atlanteans, that Atlanteans are immortal as well. Which I kind of doubt, because why would you have a crown prince for a race that's immortal? Although if that's not the case, and Atlanteans are different from Empyreans, that means that Lemuria has had very bad relations with two separate other long-lasting civilizations, which doesn't speak well to their diplomatic abilities. Greetings, surface dwellers. You have my gratitude for coming here, and I offer you friendship on behalf of all Atlantis. Oh, that's nice. I mean, it makes sense. He's a diplomatic figure. Oblivion's dark heart. These creatures, known as the Bleak Ones, do not have souls like you or I. Their foul spirit is a more tangible thing, and if you defeat them, you can acquire their bleak essences. Gather enough of them, and there is surely some way to use their own power against them. That sounds awfully risky. Especially if you don't know. I really don't think it's a good idea to collect lots of it up together. Start by collecting a few of the corrupted bleak essences carried by Lemurian bleak minions around their temple. Okay, it sounds suspicious and risky, but I don't have the ability to say no or add comment. The supernatural energy of the Bleak Ones have had unforeseen consequences. And that should be has, really. If you're talking about energy singular, it should be has had. But if it's energies of the Bleak Ones have had, if it's energies, it would be pluralized, and therefore have would make sense. But energy singular of the Bleak Ones has had would be more correct. Unforeseen consequences, such as raising the dead around the seafloor of the abyss. Most of the dead are cutthroat pirates, except for the crew of the Sea Cutter, brave 16th century explorers whose ship was sunk by pirates. Please, technical issues. Could you talk to the ship's captain, James Hawkins? He could potentially be a powerful ally. Yeah, makes sense. Oops. He's looking quite deep sea fish, isn't he? Oh, okay, so he's not a Lemurian, and nor is he really a deep one. A bleak one, rather. Servants of the dark gods, known as the Bleak Ones, these monstrous beings of incoherent evil are known to the Lemurians as the Rastrinfhar, which is why this is the Rastrinfhar Abyss, I suppose. Trained in the blackest of magic, this undersea sorcerer will blast you with dark bolts of death and bleed you of precious life. Not if I electrify him first. Fool, our power is older than the Earth itself. Well, that's quite old. And they don't leave behind bodies, they just explode. That's off-putting, isn't it? Oh, now this actually looks like a form of Lemurian. We met priestly servants of the Lemurians. Where the hell was it? Here, I think, where they were trying to forcibly transform. In fact, let's see if we can go there now, quickly. Yeah, that'll be the queen jellyfish. Although that's odd as well. Jellyfish don't behave like a hive. They don't have queens. They don't even have brains. So up here, there we go, spawned in. Basically the same appearance, except these guys are referred to as... Oh no. This is a Rastrinfhar. Okay. Servants of the dark gods known as the Bleak Ones, these monstrous beings of incoherent evil are known to the Lemurians as the Rastrinfhar. Okay, guess I was wrong. Nuxia Ruxin, hey! No worries, I'm just glad you're here now. No requirement for you to come to streams. Maybe you were busy, maybe you just forgot. Maybe you didn't feel like it. That would be fine too. I'm just investigating... Stop that. The Rastrinfhar. Now, I had been given the impression that these guys were Lemurians of some kind. But it turns out they're not. They're Rastrinfhar. Oh, hello. Where did you come from? Anyway, let's go back down into the Karkaradons depths. Although, how high up can I get? Can I actually get to the surface here? Or is there a roof on the world that stops before the surface? I'm surprised I can get this far up, actually. What's this? Oh, these will probably be crafting nodes. How far down can I get? Oh, this is the bottom. Oh well. Can I get to the surface? No. There is a ceiling in the water. Oh, they're for Nemesis missions. Oh, okay. Now, given that this is referred to as Karkaradons depths, and it's been referred to frequently by missions as deep under the sea, with technology requiring special preparation for it to survive, descending this quickly should just crush my character. It should kill her, but she is apparently more resilient than enormous water pressure, which is interesting. Anyway, let's defeat these horrible beasts. Stop that. This is why I don't especially like underwater areas, because everything is so three-dimensional. You can run into mobs that you just can't see because the camera doesn't show things in 360 degrees. Or, well, more than that really. I mean, 360 degrees is for a circle, isn't it? But that's a two-dimensional object, not three-dimensional. this, we are defeating Stormbringers to stop them from completing a ceremony that will summon a storm. So it makes sense that they're called Stormbringers, I suppose. How many more do I need? 3 of each. I'm using heirloom gear, sorcerer's might stuff. I haven't quite managed to get to level 40, so I'm going to continue using it for now. And also, I don't really have... Nasher. Look at the horrible little arms. I don't feel like I really have a budget for equipping this character with super good gear. I'm not particularly good at determining what gear is good and what isn't. That's odd. That was a sacrificial Rastrinfhar. What's 6? Oh right, we've still got one more of each of these to deal with. And there's also Ship of Fowls. Although, is that... No, it's not this. I thought maybe Plunder the Sea stretched the whole distance, but that's a bit too big for an area mission, isn't it? An open world mission. Anyway, let's come round and do these. Well, that's really deep, isn't it? I wonder how far down there I can get. This should be cooking me alive. Oh, there we go. On fire. Not only is this lava hot enough to still be liquid despite being under the sea, but water conducts heat way better than air does. And so, I mean, I suppose it makes sense that just getting here sets you on fire, but really, I should be getting hurt by heat here. Or here. Although, at the same time... apparently, just descending to these depths is not enough to hurt my character, when in reality it should be. Old Necromancer's Scroll. Oh, that's bad news. Who be calling me from me slumber? You be needing yourself a first mate? Gather up me bones and a fire for me heart, and return all me parts to James Hawkins, and I'll join your crew. Okie dokie. Wow, he just has a cannon. How is he able to fire that rapidly? I suppose he's probably aided by magic. But ordinarily, firing a cannon that quickly should be impossible, because you have to pack the... Oh wow, he's got both hands off. That's horrible. How does he wipe after pooing? Ordinarily, with a cannon, you have to clean it. Well, you don't have to clean it, especially in battle, you probably wouldn't bother, but you have to pack it with dynamite or propellant, and then put a... Well, yes, I suppose I am firing electricity underwater, but I think in my case I'm supposed to be so powerfully good at controlling electricity that I can use it to strike enemies, but not, you know, just everyone around me. Or, like, you know, people who I'm supposed to be trying to defend. How many first mates are there down here, do you reckon? Because this is the second one. Ooh, hello. Oh, that's bad news. Cutthroat seamen and scallywags who met their untimely end at the bottom of Davy Jones' locker. Then were denied their rightful passage into the afterlife due to the mystical meddling of the malevolent Bleak Ones. These buccaneers have been at sea so long that they can command the ocean's ebb and flow, tide and torrent. Now, wouldn't it be cool if there were a water-based power set in the game? You can kind of get close by choosing... well, this is not the first mates. There's another one here, and another one over here. If you choose select powers and colour them blue, you can kind of say that they're water. Yeah, particularly... Oh, apparently the excuse is it's too texture heavy. And yet, they've got transformation powers that use water, haven't they? Really big ones as well. Like huge area effect stuff. Force can be used as an alternate, but not really, because only some of the powers look like water. Yeah, I was thinking either force or wind, probably, because it blows you around. Like... And even some wind powers can apply cold debuffs, which I think you probably would get if you were using water. But there are also a few mental powers, like there's the mental like bubble control effect. That if you coloured it blue, would look like a bubble of water. Yeah, holy water, the power in the celestial tree, isn't really a water power, though, is it? It's a holy power based on the idea of holy water. I haven't actually seen it, really. Does it look like the power that you get as a werewolf hunter? When you're doing that. Yeah, so maybe mental reinforcement, but that's a healing power, isn't it? It's like a protective healing power. I more meant... well, actually, I haven't looked at all of the mental powers, but I thought that something like Ego Hold? Yeah. Or Psychic Vortex might look... If you coloured it blue, it might look like a whirlpool or something. But, like, the claim... Yeah, so the claim that water powers are too texture heavy, especially since, well, first of all, they've actually got water power transformation powers that have huge splash effects, and also just oh no worries. I like all the different builds as well. I really like coming up with different power sets and different characters, and I like experimenting. I really enjoy it as well. It's just I don't know that for people who don't necessarily know the game very well, a stream that's dedicated to talking about power sets I don't think that I would be especially good watching. I mean, it's fine for us to talk about it now because it's come up, and we know we know the subject. But so I was saying, not only have they actually got a whole bunch of like transformation powers that use water, and also like the movement powers, the surfboard that uses water splashes as an effect, but also the game's 11 years old. I think it's pretty reasonable to say that technology for supporting the game and also like playing the game on computers has advanced enormously, and I really think it should be possible to include such a power set. Although, to be fair, I don't actually know anything about the game's engine specifically, or even about building games in the first place. Have they lost most of the source code? How have they managed that? Sure, if you feel like telling me the politics and why it's not being improved on, that's cool. I just got the impression that when Perfect World Entertainment acquired it, they couldn't be bothered to take on the arduous task of creating new content for it. I thought that they were just content to keep it ticking along, making small amounts of money from people buying Zen to spend on it. Because this game is the piggy bank for Cryptic to fuel Neverwinter and Star Trek Online. Wow, okay, fair enough. I figured it was making a reasonable amount of money, but to support 2 other games, that's quite a lot. I've played Neverwinter. I don't like it very much. It's basically, it uses the oh, that's weird. What are you? An actual anglerfish. We're deep enough in the ocean to meet actual anglerfish. And that's quite a small one, actually, for anglerfish. Oop, hello. Sorry, anglerfish. Anglerfish can get really, really big. Strange, dangerous, and deadly denizens of the deep sea. Sharp teeth aren't the only weapon in the arsenal of the anglerfish. Yes, it is. Don't stare at the luminous ball on its forehead, or you might find yourself unable to take your eyes off of it. No, you wouldn't. A human would be fine. Fish with tiny brains get confused by anglerfish lures, not humans. Come on. So there is apparently only one developer for this game, and she only makes lockboxes and minuscule new content to call it content. I mean, how many people do you think have bought LTS lately? Not a lot of money there, I guess. Also, the game suffers from some serious spaghetti coding issues where there are so many bugs that built off of each other over the years that the only way to truly fix issues is by rebuilding it from scratch. Well, that makes a certain amount of sense. And is unfortunate. It's also unfortunate that there's only one person actually working on developing stuff for the game. That sucks. Actually, I was complaining about Neverwinter, wasn't I? It uses Neverwinter D&D 4th edition rules, which I want to say are probably the least popular. Certainly among long-term role players, 4th edition was probably the least popular. Do I need to go here for fire? What's this indicating? Neverwinter, yeah, so 4th edition D&D, a game based on 4th edition, just because 4th edition already felt like it was a computer game trying to be a pen and paper RPG, because it removed so many rules for roleplay, and it just felt like pushing buttons, waiting for cooldowns, and there wasn't enough room in it for creative expression of can I try this? Yes. Like, you know, improv stuff that is the lifeblood of fun roleplay, and then to build a game based on those rules. Like Neverwinter Nights, great game. Fantastic. I love it. That uses 3.5, and I don't know. I also didn't have a very good experience with Neverwinter because I came to it really late, and you can get matched up with anybody of any level when you do one of the dungeons, which you need to do to progress the story, much like in World of Warcraft. But everyone else doing it was much higher level, and therefore much faster at just moving through the level, and also a number of times would just zoom straight past mobs, and use like bugs that have already been found and are known to long-time players in the geology of the map to like skip over sections that I didn't know, and I couldn't keep up with them, and so like everyone else would fuck off down to the other end of the map and fight the boss, whilst I was struggling against different individual groups of mobs. So she tried fixing the newest endgame boss, and not only did she break him, she also caused a permanent glitch in other world bosses that she can't figure out how to fix. Yeah, that sucks. Like, I don't know this person's name, whoever it is, the one person that's been allotted to working on Champions Online by Perfect World Entertainment, but I can't fault her for making mistakes and tripping up, and like, because at least she's trying, right? At least she's trying to do stuff, and with one person to work on it all, it seems like a Herculean task. What mission is it I'm doing here? Maritime loss. Why are you still here? Didn't I hide you? Yes, I did. So why are you... oh right, I'm supposed to be near the seafloor using a device. Right, okay, that's why I couldn't find anything to interact with. Hooray! I'm doing this for completion's sake. Ordinarily, I skip through missions and I skip through content and try and make it to level 40 as quickly as I can, because I want to unlock the full potential of a character and a build that I'm experiencing, but the purpose of doing this and streaming it is to try and experience as much of the game's story as I can, and to try and do as much of to do as many of the missions as I can unlocks or shows as much of the story as possible. Now, there are some things I can't manage, like I can't do rhinoplasty or oh, I can't even show it. What's it called? Viper's Nest. I can't manage those on my own, especially not with a ranged DPS who's extremely squishy like this. Oh right, I'm supposed to be doing something with the jellyfish now, aren't I? Which is going to be fun, because they really hurt. Several divers in the area are being attacked by sharks. Defeat the sharks that are chasing them. Okay. I suppose it's only if you are right inside the electricity area of the jellyfish, but like this is a... oops. This is a... because it's three-dimensional, I can't see what's behind the camera, so I can't see if I'm, you know, ascending close to a jellyfish. At least they do appear to only be fizzing infrequently. Do I get hurt if I get close? Yes. Jesus. Ow. Oh, thank you. I use the Discord for build help. I'm using a build for this character that I found on there. I get quite self-conscious when I'm asking for help. I don't tend to like doing it, but I appreciate the offer. And if I... for example, I've got Arvad Alone and Dethroned, which is supposed to be a mission for 5 people. I probably won't be able to manage to do that, so help with that would be appreciated. Apparently the dead body of... yeah, there he is. How am I supposed to... am I supposed to go in there and try and get the thing off of him? Hello? Let's try it. Hooray! Oh, and I didn't get stung. That's weird. Yes, I figured it was probably you. No. Why do the numbers on here not match up with the numbers here? That's... okay, so I said I can't get mad at the fact that there's just the one person who's been allotted to work on this. I can't get mad at the person, but I definitely can get mad at Perfect World Entertainment, who are earning enough off of this game to support not only it, but also 2 others. Why can't they drop, for example, Neverwinter, which I don't like, especially, and assign a couple more people to work on this? If it's got enough people working on it that... or if it's got enough people... oh, hey, level 40. If it's got enough people playing it and interested in it and spending money on it to support not only itself but also other games, why can't they spend a bit more money on the game to make it better? Wouldn't that attract more players? What's the last mastery I need? Probably ego mastery. I just want to check. Yep. I mean, to be honest, maybe I should have chosen something like a tank to play, if only because that would have made it possible to solo some of the content that I can't manage as a DPS, or maybe just chosen a different power set, one that can heal itself, because I know that that's possible. I just went with, because this isn't my first stream, but this is the first time that I've streamed like a series. So when I started this, that was my first ever stream, and so the idea of naming the character Technical Issues, because I knew I would encounter some, appealed to me, and that therefore a character that uses electricity is probably the closest I could get to thematically someone who represents technical issues. But maybe if I was thinking, I probably would have chosen something that could heal itself better, at least. Okay, so I'm trying to find a GPS tracker that will lead me to an underwater treasure trove. What's that on the map? Oh, right, it's just a lava flow. I appreciate the offer. Euphinis, is that the correct pronunciation? But I'm probably fine as it is with this character. I haven't tried to do any of the adventure packs, but I expect that I'll be able to manage okay. Oh, there we go, that was easy. I want to do this. I need to get a cold fire. Okay. Yeah, I'm probably going to be okay doing adventure packs, and those would be the ones that that would make me struggle, aside from missions that require 5 people. And at this point I've basically resigned myself to not being able to show absolutely everything in the game on stream, which is fine. I mean, if someone who isn't already playing the game watches the stream and is continuing to watch even to this point, a couple of months in, and really wants to find out what happens in those missions, my assumption is that they're probably going to make a character themselves and start playing, which would be cool. Introducing a new person to the game would be a great thing for this stream to have accomplished. There we go, got the cold fire. I was kind of expecting to need to get it from this brazier thing here, but actually getting it from him directly also makes sense. Do I not have a travel power on? I thought I did. How did it get turned off? That's weird. Anyway. This is but the opening salvo of what promises to be a great war. A war that is imperative we win. I should be. It is imperative we win. Have you seen the strange fires that burn around the temple, the Great Temple? Those are what the Lemurians call cold fires, and they are used to channel Lemurian prayers directly to the bleak gods. I have a theory that bleak essences can be used to extinguish those fires. I don't know. It seems awful risky to go pitching bleak essence onto cold fire, hoping to put it out. My suspicion is that it will empower those cold fires. But, okay, I mean, I can't really interact directly with Prince Maurus as a character. I just have to do the things he tells me to do. I suppose I'll just have to hover near him when this goes poorly and make an I told you so face. Is there an I told you so emote? There should be. No, no shake head thing. That's a shame. Have you seen the strange fires? Oh yes, I've already done that. If so, we will cut off lines of psychic communication between the Bleak Ones and their Lemurian servants. Collect more bleak essences and use them to extinguish the cold fires outside the Bleak Temple. Okie dokie. I mean, I don't think this is a good idea, but I can't... As I said, I can't actually do anything about that. Where's my bleak essence? Come on. Ugh. Oh, there we go. There's a bleak essence. It's annoying that they don't drop one to one. The implication is that bleak essence is the residue left of their soul. So, is the implication if they don't drop some that they don't have a soul? Or don't have enough of one to drop? Oh, well, he had one at least. Cool, thanks, that's in the way. It's really annoying that I can't move that somewhere. Oops. Come on. So, was that enough? Apparently. Okay. How do I rearrange the UI? I mean, I know that I can, like, grab this and move it around. Probably. No. I know that that should be possible. Oh, F12. Okay. Thank you. No. Oh, right. Christ. I'd set Arc's streaming overlay to F12 because I wasn't expecting to use F12. Because previously it was set to Shift and something, or Shift and Tab maybe, and it was activating previously because I think Windows was getting confused and pressing buttons that I wasn't pressing. But alright, yeah, if I change the keybinds to something else. What's F11 bound to? Build 6. Oh, I'm not going to use that, am I? So F11. Oh, there we go. Hooray. Let's move that out of the way. Yeah. No. Thank you. That was helpful. Do those harpooners' harpoons disable my flight power? That's deeply annoying. Yes. That just disabled my flight power. Thanks, knobhead. Where's the last fire? There it is. Well, seems like I was wrong, and he was correct. It does extinguish the cold fires. Bit of a guess, though, isn't it? That could have summoned some kind of rift into the Bleak Ones' home realm and pushed me through, which would have been no fun at all. I'm greatly impressed by your heroism. Technical issues. When we are finally victorious in this battle, I would be honoured to have you as my guest in the palaces of Atlantis, if only Atlantis existed in the game. As more than references. I don't know, does it? You guys probably know more than I do on the subject. Does Atlantis actually feature as a place? Or that you can go to? Or is it just referenced to in people like Maros? Oh, okay. No clue. Oh well. My duplicitous sister Stingray has been driven to the abyss after a great battle with a superpowered land dweller. Yes. We met him earlier. The amphibian. Except he spoke sort of he was disappointed that things went as poorly with her as they did. Like, there seemed to be some possibility of reconciliation on the subject of Atlantis. I don't think so, no. I think it's only referenced, although I do think some of those buildings are part of Atlantis. The ones with the habitation buildings where the Lemurian rebels are trying to blow up. No, I'm pretty sure that that's supposed to be Lemuria, isn't it? Those domes. That I previously, until I met him, had thought that Lemuria was this universe's version of Atlantis. But having met him now, it's really confused me. My duplicitous sister Stingray has been driven to the abyss after a great battle with a superpowered land dweller. Was that you, Technical Issues, who defeated her in the Calagenius depths? No, probably not. I think that was Amphibian. Stingray is weak and in hiding, but I know where she is. She's hiding in a sea cave, trying to gather her strength. Go in there and defeat her while you can. Okay. Just continue beating on her. Don't let up. Lemurian oracles are the servants closest to the Bleak Ones, who consult powerful scrying orbs to see possible future timelines and, based on their visions, determine war strategies. It is giving the enemy an unfair advantage. Well, I don't think that's unfair. That's an ability that they've unlocked. Just because you can't match it doesn't make it unfair. Well, I suppose it's unfair in the sense that it unbalances things in their favour, but that doesn't mean... I mean, don't you have mystics, oracles, people who can use divination? Isn't Atlantis a mystically powerful location? Like, find a strategy that either confounds or matches it. It is giving the enemy an unfair advantage, and we will lose the battle against the Bleak Ones if we do not obtain the 4 scrying orbs. Find them in the small temples on the sea floor, northwest of the large temple of the Bleak Ones. Okay. A group of elder worms have stolen an ancient piece of Lemurian jewellery that they claim has been fashioned out of an elder worm relic. Hypocrisy in all things, yeah. Just buy big fucking guns. Yeah, like, just buy something. I mean, this is probably actually a crafting node for science. Oh, I can't see in it from here. But, like... what are those? I thought this was a crate of guns, but it doesn't appear to be. What are these? Anyway. A group of elder worms. I'm surprised that elder worms are capable of surviving in the ocean depths. These creatures are dangerous and have relentlessly attacked Atlantis in the past. We cannot allow them to gain any more power. Haven't I already defeated Slug? Maybe I haven't in terms of the game's chronology. Maybe I'm supposed to have been doing stuff down here in Lemuria and then gone up back to Monster Island and completed stuff there, including taking on Slug and defeating him, thus breaking the Elder Worm invasion thrust. Find him... hold on. We cannot allow them to gain any more power. I'm quite sure their leader, Shrudnion, has the jewel in his possession. Find him lurking underneath a rock bridge on the sea floor, east of the Bleak Temple. Okay. I'm sure that won't be difficult. No. Okay. Oh yeah, here we are. Elder Worms. I mean, if nothing else, Maris himself is a superhero to surface dwellers, so shouldn't he have some kind of networking with other superheroes? Like, superheroes are a huge force multiplier. I'm surprised that this mindworm can separate itself from the floor. Couldn't he ask some super... oh, I suppose technically that's what he's done in this case, but couldn't the Atlanteans, through Maris, have asked superheroes to come and help out? Wouldn't that make sense? I'm supposed to be looking under a bridge for... the leader. Where's he at? I mean, this is a big rock bridge. But the people under it... oh no, maybe there they are. Crudnion. There we go. Take his Lemurian marquee. Might as well defeat his mindworms whilst we're here as well. There we go. That was easy. And there's also these artifacts in the temples. hello. Your help would be greatly appreciated. Dalahan Lem. I'm fatally wounded, Surface Worlder, but it's not too late for you to help us. We've made such a terrible mistake. Our belief in the Bleak Ones will be our undoing in the end. I'm glad that at least one of them is self-aware enough to realize that. If you can find and destroy this last scrying orb, the one taken by the Empyrenes, we can be redeemed. The orb is being carried by an ancient Empyrene construct. You should hurry after it. It probably has not travelled very far. I'm surprised that it could... Well, I mean, I suppose this is quite a big door, isn't it? If it's that big. I'm surprised... Oh. Go away. Surprised that it could get in through the door and nab the orb. This is probably it, isn't it? What this is... Is it using electricity? No, magic. Okay. There we go. Got the scrying orb. I also, to go back to adding powers to the game, I also think it would be cool if they could add a shield, like a physical shield that you wear on your arm, defensive power to the game. Like, you can kind of add shields in the form of costume pieces. There are some braces that look like shields, and I've seen someone with like a triangular couch shield back piece, but it'd be nice if they could add it to allow people playing as knights to have it as an option, I guess. I don't feel like it should be impossible. I mean, yes, of course, it would not be usable with like claws and with dual swords, but that makes sense. I mean, in other games, like in City of Heroes, you can choose. Well, it's probably not down here, is it? You can choose shields or dual swords. Yeah, I haven't tried it, but Euphynus says that shields on braces don't match up when you're blocking with them. They angle awkwardly and don't look like blocking at all, which is unfortunate, but it makes sense. And they probably weren't... Well, no, hold on, that's not true, is it? I was going to say they probably weren't designed with the intention that you would make it look like you're using a shield, but if the costume piece is a big round thing, and I think in some cases is sometimes referred to as a shield, it probably should... I think they're going the right way with stuff like the broomstick flight. Yeah, the broomstick flight is cool. I haven't really seen it or tried it myself, but it's cool that it's in here now. Like, that's definitely a new travel power that I hadn't seen before. Oh, a three-dimensional indoor map, finally. Stuff like this should be much more prevalent, especially underwater. Oh, these horrible little... It's their tiny arms, like the T-Rex arms. I don't like it. But yeah, as I said before, I don't bear any malice towards the one woman who's trying to work on making new things and like trying to do stuff with the code and balance the game and stuff. My issue is with her employers not giving her any other people to work with. Like, fucking support the game. I reckon you'd probably get a huge number of people coming back to the game if they knew that there was improvements like big content updates happening, so that there was more story and more things to do, and like probably not too many people that bothered by bugs. I mean, the game is functional, broadly speaking. You can play the game. Like, there might be bosses that you can't manage or that have issues because of accidents with the code. But not everyone is that mild to her, though, which is understandable in some cases, I guess. Well, only if you take her as being the one responsible for the state of the game and not, you know, the people employing her. Like, it should be within their power to hire more people. At least she's trying. And I don't think that the loot boxes are bad, particularly. It's annoying that you have to spend money on them, but it is adding more costume pieces to the game, and the big part of the reason I like the game is that you can create such wildly unique costumes. Oh, that's not very nice, is it? The waters of Lemuria will run red with your blood, fool. You are destined to meet a grisly fate in these ocean depths, hero. Unlikely. Stingray today is a very conflicted young woman. She hates those she once loved, but mostly because she thinks they took advantage of her or didn't return her regard. She desperately needs to prove herself, and the one thing she believes will do that is taking over Atlantis. All of her magic, all of her wiliness and intellect is directed at that one goal. If she thinks allying with someone will help her achieve it, she'll do that regardless of who they are or what their goal is, or what their goals are. Underneath it all, though, she still cares about her brother and still cares about Amphibian. It's possible those nearly hidden emotions might give her pause at a key moment. Of course, it's also possible that she'll gladly kill the both of them. With Stingray, it's hard to know. What's her costume like? You would think she doesn't have straps on that. Oh, she's using electricity. That's that's gonna go well for her, isn't it? She doesn't have straps on this bustier or corset thing. You would think swimming underwater with something unsupported here would just get it scooped down. By the force of the water flowing across her chest. Especially if she swims quickly. Like, this is not a practical outfit for someone who swims. It's not really a practical outfit for someone who flies. I mean, there are webcomics about the impracticalities of both Wonder Woman and Power Girl's outfits for if they're trying to fly forwards. But underwater, the drag is even worse. So that top should just get pulled off of her the moment she tries to swim forwards. Oh, this is going to be fun to try and get out of, isn't it? Yet another mission that doesn't have an exit door in the final room. Where the heck? Ah, here we are. Do I not have... Yeah, I've got 2 advantage points to spend. Is accelerated metabolism ever worth it? Or should I go with something like lightning helix just to spend the last point? No, never. Okay, fair enough. I didn't think it was. Yeah, can occur once every 15 seconds. That doesn't seem like a good enough frequency. What did I spend 3 points on, though? I'll just take lightning helix. Well, the build seems to be working reasonably well at the moment. I just need it to do damage and not let me die immediately. We knew we could count on you, technical issues. Satellite photos are showing clear skies as far as the eye can see. Great work, technical issues. Those jellies didn't sting you too bad, I hope. They shouldn't have stung me at all through the metal armor. Jellyfish stings being chemical after all, but... And probably not caustic, like... I don't think I've ever heard of jellyfish stings melting metal. Excellent work. Our scuba teams could not survive at these depths, and our remote submersibles are defenseless against enemy attacks. So how on earth am I able to survive at this depth? There's no explanation for it whatsoever. The Lemurians, loyal to the Bleak Ones, are sacrificing other Lemurians to gain the favour of their dark gods. We cannot allow the slaughter to continue. Stop the Lemurian executioners and release the Lemurian sacrifices. Be careful. The most powerful of all the Lemurian executioners is a fearsome brute known as the Vengeance Fiend. What's he taking vengeance for? You can't start a rebellion and attack a city and then, when you take losses, take revenge for the losses you've taken that you've incurred because you've attacked someone that wasn't attacking you in the first place. Like, fuck off, knobhead. You don't get to call yourself Vengeance Fiend just because your side has incurred losses starting attacking someone else. This terrible creature will only come out when his executioners need some help. So rough up enough executioners, then be ready to fight for your life. Okay. I don't think I'm going to rough them up, though. I think I'm going to fucking fry them. Apparently this is Lemurian, but this is clearly a Rastrinfhar. The game even refers to them as Rastrinfhar. When you look at the info text. Oh, there he is. That didn't take long, did it? Right then, knobhead. No, that's not new information. Was that enough of them? That's odd. I've only completed 2 of the 4 for the mission, but I had previously defeated 2 executioners. So is the game tracking defeats of executioners outside of the mission towards the mission's completion? That's really strange. Yeah, it's never clear in a game like this where you can get poison powers and radiation burn powers and like orbital cannons and swords and guns, how your character who uses such things is supposed to be like non-fatally defeating enemies that they fight. And it's like, it's not even an issue with new powers being added to the game that have this issue, because like when the game launched, you could be a build-oriented blade user, a bleed-oriented blade user, or set people on fire with the fire powers, or freeze them into blocks of ice, which, by the way, should actually kill people. Like, the amount of thermal chaos caused to a person frozen in a block of ice just should kill them. Like, it shouldn't be, oh, teehee, frozen in place. Inconvenience. It should be fatal. Are you okay? Are you okay after your ordeal? Technical issues. We had one hero so disturbed after an encounter with a vengeance fiend, he had to go into stress counselling, and he eventually had to himself voluntarily committed. No, I'm fine. I'm annoyed, really, that he had the gall to call himself a vengeance fiend. Technical issues. We've come up with a plan to stop Megalodon, the most dangerous and deadly of sharks. The plan is risky. Isn't Megalodon a genus of huge prehistoric shark? There can't be one living at the moment, is there? I mean, we fought a huge shark earlier, like a couple of weeks ago, around here somewhere, high up in the water, who was called, I think, Bloodfin, maybe? The plan is risky, and first you will need to collect the 4 crates we've jettisoned down into the abyss, which contain materials to assist you in your quest to insert the microchip into Megalodon. This doesn't sound like stopping him. What microchip? Okay. This is the first time I've heard anything about inserting microchips into sharks. This is new information. Don't behave as though this is something ongoing. After you've collected the materials, report back to the Aegir communicator with the crates you've collected. Okay. I'm going to need to actually go to Unity, oh no, until thingamy to get that quest giving letter. Why do I need a chum bucket? also talk to Maris. We will not allow this powerful jewelry to fall into the hands of those hostile to Atlantis and the surface world. Also, I may wear this to the Atlantis Summer Swimfest. This is a piece of jewelry carved out of a elder worm artifact. Seems a bit cavalier to wear it to a summer event. Getting these 3 orbs is a setback for the Lemurians, but if we were to get all 4 scrying orbs, it would be a devastating blow from which they might never not be able to recover. My sister Stingray has coveted the Atlantean crown for so long. She has been rash and reckless in the past, but aligning with the Bleak Ones is a crime against Atlantis which will be very difficult to forgive. Thank you for doing what I did not have the courage to do. Probably the ability, if we're being honest. In the wrong hands, these scrying orbs can be used to see the future and, to some extent, control it. The orbs must be destroyed, so it falls to you, superhero, to complete this task. Cast into the fiery cracks of the abyss, south of the Bleak Temple. A few of them are so deep they reach all the way to the Earth's fiery core. I don't believe you. Also, 4 orbs that are used for scrying and long distance, like just psychic ability, and needing to destroy them by casting them into a lavary abyss. That's definitely a reference to Lord of the Rings, isn't it? I don't remember the name of the orbs that Saruman finds one of in Lord of the Rings, but there's definitely there's a number of them, and they haven't been able to account for the location of all of them, and so Gandalf warns Saruman not to use it because one of them might be in the possession of Sauron, which it turns out it is, and so using it, basically forming a psychic connection with someone on the other end, basically formed a psychic connection with Sauron, which kind of fucked Saruman up. But back to the game. A few of them are so deep they reach all the way to the Earth's fiery core. I already said it, but I don't believe you. The Earth's core is a long way down. Miles and miles and miles of it. If there were a crack that deep, well, I mean, for one thing, past a certain point, the Earth's core gets liquidy and molten, hence molten core. And so, once you get to a certain point in the Earth's crust, you can't have a crevice because the substance of it wouldn't have the structure to remain apart. Like, it would crush together because it's partially liquid. That's the one place capable of absorbing the orb's tremendous power. Watch out for the lava, though. That stuff can really burn. Yes, I've already discovered that. Am I supposed to put one in each different fissure? Apparently, okay. Oh, here we are. I'm surprised I'm not just dropping them down here. Go away. pulled a bit too much there. That's a harpoon. I was worried this was going to be a fishing rod, which would be intensely stupid, but no. It's alright. It's a harpoon. Although if this is supposed to be for a megalodon, it's probably not big enough. Oh, I am supposed to be talking to this friendly captain, aren't I? Do you reckon there's a reference to SpongeBob in the game? Avast ye, what brings ye down to Davy Jones' locker? Have ye come seeking the tales of doubloons, the mystery of the Flying Dutchman? I be Hawkins, Captain James Hawkins, of the noble ship the Sea Cutter. Me crew and me been haunting these briny depths ever since we were sunk by a band of dastardly pirates. He's probably not swearing enough for an actual pirate, or even just sailor, but I realise they probably can't put the swear words in the game. Ah, I recognise these old bones. 'Tis one of me swabbies from the Sea Cutter. He was loyal and true while he served on me crew, but you've earned his allegiance now. Technical issues. Captain the Friendly Ghost. Did I just get... Oh, my bags are full of junk. Did I just get a companion of some kind? I need to sell some of this. Anyway. Technical issues. You found me, matey. Why, there hasn't been a friendly face round these parts going on 500 years. It's quite a long time, isn't it? Also, this is another ghost that we're capable of reasoning and speaking with. So whoever it was last time who claimed that was impossible, yet again, more evidence, or maybe not last time, but last week, more evidence that they were talking bollocks. Brave captain of the Sea Cutter, Hawkins' ship was sunk hundreds of years ago by a band of villainous pirates. The strange, unholy energy of the dark gods known as the Bleak Ones prevent Captain Hawkins and his crew from departing to the peaceful pastoral afterlife known to all sailors as Fiddler's Green. Technical issues. Yeah. It's just because I never remember to sell stuff between streams. The Crime of the Ancient Mariners. Reference to Rime of the Ancient Mariner. Which I think I've probably read all of, but I don't remember all of. It's quite a good poem. Those scurvy dogs of the deceit. We be sitting at the bottom of the abyss after those blasted barnacle polishers sunk the prize ship. After 500 years, those cocky bilge rats think they'll never have to pay for their dark deeds. I say justice needs to be served. 'Tis the code of the sea. Don't let the crew of the deceit get away with what they done to me crew, matey. If it's been 500 years... I mean, he probably would be speaking modern English, but it would seem archaic to us. It doesn't seem like the English he's speaking is quite correct for the period he's from. I remember like it was yesterday, being cornered by the band of filthy pirate scum who plundered the Sea Cutter and left it to sink to the bottom of the sea. The worst of the pirates was the black-hearted crew of a ship named the Deceit. They took the crew captive and have been holding 'em to this day. You gotta get 'em back, matey. The crew was loyal and true and don't deserve this treatment. It's been 500 years. I wonder if they're still loyal and true now. It's bad enough that blasted pirate scum sunk me ship and took me men prisoner. But the worst thing of all was when the treasure of the sea cutter got scattered on the ocean floor when me poor ship sank. Me crew can't rest till we get back what's ours. Can ye help out, matey? The treasure be spread out all over the pirate ship graveyard. What say ye? Yeah, alright. There's a reason so many people like gold, and it has nothing to do with the fact it is shiny. Well, it is. Gold as a decoration is the primary reason that it got used in ancient times. It was a show of wealth because it looked pretty. Like, we now, in the modern period, understand that gold is quite a good conductor of electricity and is therefore useful in, like, a literal sense. But oh. Yeah. There's a reason so many people like gold, and it has nothing to do with the fact that it is shiny. Yes, it is! That's why most people like gold. Some gold is a conduit for the supernatural, especially gold that has blood spilled over it. For this very reason, the ghost pirates of the waters of Rastrinfhar's abyss keep their gold close and treasure it above all else. No pun intended. If you were to confiscate their gold, perhaps the ghost pirates would not have a reason to stay bound to this world and finally move on to the afterlife. Unlikely. It's the Bleak Ones keeping you here, not the gold. But I'll have off with ghost gold. That's fine. Hold on. Was that pieces of 8? Pieces of 8 are silver, not gold. Oh, I got a GPS device. This GPS tracking device gives coordinates to the modern-day pirate Captain Claw and his ruthless band of cybernetic pirates, currently in the process of plundering the fabled Madre del Oro, lost pirate treasure. Intercept Captain Claw and bring him to justice. Okie dokie. Where is that? Eight. Here? Is this it? Yes. Huh. It's a submarine with a skull and crossbones stuck on each side, not just the one side. And a skull on the front. Captain Claw is tacky as fuck. Cutthroat seamen and scallywags who met their untimely end at the bottom of Davy Jones' locker, then were denied their rightful passage into the afterlife due to the mystical meddling of the malevolent Bleak Ones. Keep away from the cutlass of these scurvy dogs, or you'll be gutted to stem to stern. These are robots, not undead. Did they not bother with coming up with different info text? That's lazy. These guys are, yeah, they're definitely robots. Why is Captain Claw captain of a robot pirate ship. Or pirate crew, rather. Why was that not mentioned before? I think that would be relevant. Hold on, I just want to look up whether... because I'm sure that pieces of 8 are silver. But I might be wrong. Because pieces of 8 are coins divided up into eighths. That's hence the name. And I'm sure that it's Spanish silver. Silver dollar of the Catholic monarchs after 1497. Yeah, silver. Pieces of 8 are silver, not gold. The Spanish dollar, also known as the piece of 8, is a silver coin of approximately 38 millimeters diameter worth 8 Spanish reals. It was minted in the Spanish Empire following a monetary reform in 1497. It was widely used as the first international currency because of its uniformity in standard and milling characteristics. Some countries countersigned the Spanish dollar so it could be used as their local currency. Yeah, so the mission telling you to go and retrieve mystical gold that had blood spilled on it and was therefore keeping the pirates bound to this world instead of letting them move on, and then having you pick up pieces of 8 from them is fundamentally wrong and stupid. Also want to find out when we changed from modern English or Middle English to modern English. Right. Here we are. Because a part of me suspects it's not been 500 years since the change. Oh, okay. From the 8th to the 12th century, we spoke Middle English. Often arbitrarily defined as beginning with the conquest of England by William the Conqueror in 1066, but it developed further in the period from 12 to 1450. Early modern English. Next period in the history of English was early modern English, 15th to 17th century. Oh, no, that would be 14th to 16th, wouldn't it? 1500 to 1700. Early modern English was characterized by the Great Vowel Shift, 1350 to 1700, inflectional simplification and linguistic standardization. So, that guy Hawkins, I think, would be speaking something similar to, but not entirely recognizable as, modern English. It'd be very, very early modern English. Because he said he'd been down here for 500 years. So 500 years from 2009. Should be, 1509. Or, well, no. I'm absolutely shit at maths in my head. So I require the use of a calculator. This will probably be very, very obvious to everyone else. But I... $15.09, okay, yes. And Nuxia Rickson corroborates. So this would be 1509 would be fairly early on in modern English. I don't remember when Shakespeare was around. Let's look that up as well. So but Shakespeare is also early modern English. 1564 to 1616. So, what's his face? James Hawkins should have been speaking in English that sounded earlier than Shakespeare or Shakespearean English. Chat though. I'll nail your gizzards to the mizzenmast. Yeah. Well, I mean, these are robot pirates, so it's entirely reasonable that... and also these are modern Captain Claw pirates, or Captain Claw-led pirates. So he's probably just programmed his robot crew to say whatever he feels like. I got a 500 meg peg leg superhero, and it's going to kick your booty. You'll not take me hard-earned booty, you superpowered sea dog. Keep your filthy hands off me plunder. We're stealing this treasure fair and square. Well, I mean, stealing treasure is fair and square. That's how everyone does it. It's just sometimes governments claim that they're doing it according to the law. Ooh, we've got an air pocket up here. That is a lot of gold. Captain Claw also appears to be a robot. A modern-day pirate known as Captain Claw. He is also one of Until's most wanted. Oh no, maybe he is human. That's some fleshy stuff there, isn't it? Hurry up with those doubloons, you careless, comatose contraptions. Just because he's a pirate doesn't mean he has to speak like a pirate, especially a modern-day one. Yeah, I think... Oh, pulled him already. He's a cyborg. But he is human.
Looks like I'm gonna be scraping superhero blood off me book tonight, dear. You must start believing in cyborg pirates.
You best start believing in cyborg pirate stories, superhero. You're in one. Very nice. Yeah. At this point, at this stage in the game, of course they voiced this character. So they could give him a voice line adapted from Pirates of the Caribbean, and I didn't even let him finish the signature line. I took him down before that happened. That's kind of rude of me, wasn't it? The writing on this logbook is a strange mixture of elaborate cursive and mechanical precision. So I says to him, "What be your name, and why do you think ye can barge in upon me and me crew? I am called Force," he said. "I have been sent here by a dark seraph, leader of the Crowns of Crim, to make a deal with you. What sort of deal do you want to make? said I. A hero from the surface may soon enter your waters, he said. A hero named Technical Issues. I would like that hero to die down here. Oh, we'll kill any who cross our path, who it pleases us to kill, I says. But we'll not take orders to do it. Crowns are crim, eh? Well, I don't like the crim of your jib, and I think we'll wet our swords on ye. We rushed him then, but he was quick and had a mighty power that could hold even us at bay long enough for him to take his leave. And what's worse, he took some of our treasure when he was at it. Now the lads are in low spirits, but I figure if and when this Technical Issues shows up, a little keel hauling will restore their vigour. Interesting. Crowns of Crim are troubled by my continued existence. I always say that you can judge a hero by the quality of their enemies. So if the Crowns of Crim are concerned about me, I say that's pretty good going. Also, I'm just going to assume that my character puts all of this into her hyperspace storage or subspace storage or whatever, and doesn't just leave it here. Ooh, sea charts. This is a comprehensive modern sea chart with detailed notes about the oceans surrounding Lemuria, including information about depths, tides, elevations, navigational routes, and shoreline topography. Of particular interest is a transparent overlay marked Viper shipping and supply channels, and circles marked in red pen denoting optimal times and locations to attack ships. It's a shame I can't take that information myself, because it seems like a good idea to attack Viper shipping lines. Just for the sake of fucking over Viper. Which is an end of itself, really. Aha. This will be the microchip. Again, pieces of 8 are not made of gold. Why are there ghost books floating here? These books leave ghosts. Who the hell is... Oh, there he is. I only say that because I've never truly killed a book. Yeah, how can you kill that which does not truly live? Nicked all your gold. Like, I figure it could reasonably be possible to have a ghost book. Just you would have to have a ghost collect ghost paper or parchment. Well, probably parchment, because parchment is made of animal skin. It's basically really thin leather. And craft a book with ethereal Captain Horatio Crunch. This is Captain Crunch. Look, he's even got the white facial hair. Cutthroat seamen and scallywags who met there in town may end. Yeah, that's just exactly the same text as we got for all the others. These buccaneers have been at sea so long that they can command the ocean's ebb and flow, tide and torrent. That's not an ocean current. That's a black hole. Also, deeply annoyed to discover that that's ebb and rift, and when you're a player you have to maintain it, so you can't do anything else whilst it's active. And there isn't even an advantage to have it persist after it's been summoned. Oh no, okay, fair enough. The duration of the rift increases the longer the power is maintained, making it possible for it to continue after the maintain has stopped. But he didn't maintain it for very long at all. There. Oh, this is a bunch of different ones. I bet I'll have a mission to defeat them individually, won't I? So I should probably not do it now. Right, so as I was saying, it should be possible, especially in a universe that has as much magic as this does, to collect ghost leather. I mean, for example, whilst we were in Canada, we had a mission to collect pelts off of ghost wolves. So clearly ghost leather exists. So it should be possible, if you've got the means to manipulate ghost parts, either because you're a ghost yourself or because you have mystical powers, it should be possible to, you know, bind a book that is ethereal and made of ghost bits. So I'm not saying that ghost books are an impossibility. I'm just wondering, first of all, why they're here. Well, no, that's it. I'm just wondering why they're here specifically. I mean, I would expect a ghost book to exist in, like, a magician's sanctum. Not somewhere that pirates hung out. I mean, how would an ordinary mortal who just happened to be a pirate acquire a ghost book? What use would they have for one? How would they keep it aboard a ship? How did it come to sink instead of, you know, and float here instead of float, you know, on the surface where the ship sunk initially? Like, it's cool and interesting that they've added one to the game, but that looks like it's a charge power to me, not a maintain. Like, they charge it up for a couple of seconds and then it stays there whilst they continue to attack. Like, it doesn't seem like the function of the power is the same across heroes and NPCs. How much pieces of 8 am I supposed to be getting? 14. You be a good one, the superhero. How does a pirate who's been on the ocean floor, deep in the fucking abyss of the ocean, know what a superhero is? For 500 years, by the way. Should note. How do they know what a superhero is? How is that even a word in their internal lexicon? It's like them knowing the word Wi-Fi or mainframe. I need marksman. There we are. That's a marksman. And there's another. There's 3 of them, in fact. That's what I need. There we go. And now number 6. We've already been freeing crewmen. There we go, that should be another one. Mainframe is actually a word that dates back to ancient Egypt, used for the giant robot pyramids they would make to fight aliens. Euphonist. No, the pyramids were built as landing pads for pyramid-shaped spaceship. Don't you know anything? For the Goa'uld. So I suppose, because the Goa'uld ships had mainframes, maybe in that case, the word might have existed since ancient Egypt. Nuxerixen. Also, pretty sure demigods counted as superheroes in this universe, like Achilles, Siegfried, or whatever. Yes, but I don't know that they would have been called a superhero. It is a very specific word with a specific meaning. I think they probably would have been, well, I mean, Achilles would have just been a hero or a champion, but something like Hercules or Heracles would have been a demigod, not a superhero, because so the pharaohs were not buried in them, they were integrated into the mainframe to control the ship. Pirates were not educated back then to know of superheroes. Yeah, also worth noting that in the 15th, or what would that be? Would it be the 14th century? Or would it be the 16th century? We're in the 21st century now, and we're in 2000s, so 16th century, yes. At the beginning of the 16th century, they were getting interested in the classics again, like the philosophers of ancient Greece, but ordinary, deckhands and stuff on pirate ships wouldn't have had the education in the classics to know about Achilles, and even especially Siegfried, because he only appears in Norse, like the Poetic Edda, which was only discovered like in the Victorian period, or at least translated. So reference to Siegfried and other Norse heroes shouldn't appear in the knowledge base of people from the 16th century. It's certainly not the kind of people that would become pirates. Right, and in here, hardtack Jack. He'll be the ship's dog. Give the dog a bone. No, I'm not going to bone the dog. Fuck off. Avashchi, what brings ye down to David? Oh, I've already read that. And to think that me was about to hang the jib. How would a ghost hang the jib? By the look of things, you've got the bounty, mate. I've been separated from my crew for far too long. Technical issues. Gather round, mateys, and let's sing a rousing sea... That should be shanty, not chanty. About the cruelty of the sea. Not bad for a landlubber, ha ha ha. You do me proud. And then give the dog a bone. Siegfried is a bad example. I probably only know of him because I'm German. Well, maybe. I mean, I know of Siegfried as well, but I guess I don't know about historical German culture. Would Germans in the 16th century have known about Siegfried? Would that have been... Would references to him have existed in the Germanic language of the period? Not because it's relevant to the game. I don't think any of these pirates are supposed to be German, but I'm just curious. Oh boy, probably not. Not sure, actually. Well, fair enough. No worries. Does Germany have a history of naval, like a really famous history of naval warfare? Because you hear about like the Dutch and the Spanish and the English, but you don't really hear about Germanic countries or even Scandinavian ones. I mean, even the French kind of get in there because of their rivalry to the British Armada, but I don't know whether I'm aware of those examples, like of the Dutch and the Spanish and so on, because they were major rivals of the British Navy, and as a result, a famous German Navy is missing from my internal knowledge base because we were at least not competing with them, if not friends with them at the time. But I guess I'm just curious. Looks like we're still missing a few coins, mate. Old Hardtack Jack's been sniffing at the water mighty fierce, and this ain't gonna let me and me crew leave this place without him. Take old Hardtack there for a walk and have him scrounge up them missing doubloons. I'm sure them scallywags from the Deceit'll come running as soon as old Jack digs him up, so keep your cutlass handy. Okay. Hardtack Jack is a citizen, apparently. Roof. It's two different spellings of roof. Dead man's best friend. That's the same mission text as I got when I was asked to come and speak to him. That's odd. Pet Hardtack Jack. Interesting that he's walking along the sea floor. Not even doggy paddling. Oh good, he heals up. What a surprise, this conspicuous environmental object is something that Hardtack Jack is going to interact with. Euphanis, you mentioned earlier that you wanted to fix my build. I'm fine with having a look at and trying out on the public test server the build, see if it functions a bit better than this one. Do you use the Discord for Champions Online? Or some other way? I mean, I use Twitter. That could be a good way. You don't like that place? Oh, okay, fair enough. I'll send you a link to the build that I'm using. Oh, he's digging somewhere that doesn't have an obvious. Oh, that's not a doubloon. That's a shield. I'll send you a link to the build I'm using. I specifically chose one, especially with the stats and the... No, doubloons wouldn't have been oversized. They were chosen specifically because they were uniform. Like, that was a huge part of their appeal. If you divided them up into 8, you could be sure that it would be an even 8, as long as the dividing was fairly reasonable. Like, this is even modeled on, it's a Middle Eastern style of shield. The domes here are reminiscent of the domes you see on like Iranian shields. Well, I just read from the Wikipedia article about doubloons, about how the reason that they got adopted by several different nations as official currency. Like, it was the first currency to be officially adopted, like, broadly. What? How did I fail? It's not that I know more than you, it's that you didn't listen when I was reading. Terrific work, technical issues. Captain Claw has been a menace to the high seas for far too long. You've just made the world's oceans a much safer place. Have you got all 4 crates? Great, we can begin. Oh, so that was a bug with the escort mission. That's a shame. It probably... If it's a bug, then I probably won't be able to complete it. But... Wait, I picked up the same mission from him. Oh, right, I can. It doesn't show itself very often. Okay, well, let's give it another go. And it wasn't arduous, particularly. Pet Hardtack Jack. Off he goes. Alright, let's head off in advance. And clean up. Surprised I'm still getting pieces of 8. I think this will probably be the last mission that I do today because we're getting close to 11 o'clock. I wonder where he's going to come next. Won't this be a mystery? I think it was over here next, wasn't it? Oh, hello. So I guess next time I'll be trying to do Arvad Alone and Dethroned. And given the fact that it's not a 1 to 5 mission, it's a 5 mission, I'm not expecting to be able to. And I definitely won't have a character that's capable of soloing stuff up to level by that point. I mean, unless I retcon this character into an entirely different build, I guess I could give it a go solo. But oh, you'll help me. Oh, cool. Thanks. You finish. I'll send you a message. I mean, I stream at regular times. Nope, failed it again. Oh, cool. Thanks, guys. Nuxia Ruxon has said they will help too. Thank you. You showed those scurvy varlets a thing or two. Excellent heroism. Technical issues. Yeah, I'm not... Why is it a repeatable quest? It's got a green exclamation mark. Oh. Are you the same person as Ravenforce? Have you got two different... Oh, right. Okay. I apologise. You said you weren't doing it on Raven, she'll get torn to shreds. And someone else who goes by Ravenforce has a character called Ravenforce, I think. I was briefly confused. I thought that maybe you had two accounts or something. Because you... Maybe you needed two accounts because you couldn't fit enough characters into one account. Oh, right, okay. Yeah, fair enough. I've spent a lot of money on the game as well. I don't think that I'd want to try spending more money. I mean, the only reason I can play, well, not the only reason, I mean, I suppose I could be subscribed, but I've got lifetime membership. That's why I've got access to all freeform builds. And I wouldn't want to buy lifetime membership again. Particularly, I wouldn't want to spend the money I have on Zen to get cosmic keys of power, to open boxes to get costume pieces all over again. That's the main thing. Unlocking the costume pieces isn't something I'd want to try and do on a second account. The destruction of those infernal scrying orbs will make the ocean a safer place for all. Jumping the shark. Technical issues. Oh no, hold on. If I'm stopping now, I probably shouldn't take the missions now, because... Oh, that is a reasonable amount of Zen. I think I had a couple of thousand, maybe 1,000 or so, before I got lifetime membership. But when you've got lifetime, they give you an allowance of it every month. And it's just been stacking up since I bought lifetime in like January or February 99. It's been like a year and a half, nearly 2 years. I figured by that point I was playing it enough and I'd sunk enough money in to subscribing and buying Zen that I might as well just buy. It was on. I might as well just buy lifetime because it was on sale for 100 quid, and I was like, yeah, fair enough. Yeah, the thing is, I don't know what to spend mine on. I mean, I've unlocked all the things that I feel like unlocking. I've got enough vehicles to share between my characters. I don't need a vehicle per character. That would be silly. And generally speaking, I don't feel like... well, yeah, I mean... But I've unlocked all the costume pieces that I want. I mean, there are some that I don't have, but I feel like they're a little bit tacky. And I can't think... Well, particularly like... Dryad is kind of tacky rubbish. And I can't think of any characters that I want to make that would use something like this outfit, for example, or Robot Samurai. I mean, I guess the undersuit looks kind of cool. That could be useful for a tech character, but all of this is too specific to a samurai theme, and I wouldn't want to... It has great belts, does it? I guess. I don't usually put belts on my characters, to be honest. I've got most of their own character parts already. Oh, fair enough. I mean, I'm not telling you that you can't like costume sets, just that I don't particularly like the looks of these ones that are left myself, and I can't think of any character concepts I would want to buy them for to use. I mean, I guess these pleated trousers look better than the ones that are currently available as standard. And that might be better, but... Yeah, anyway, so we're at 11 o'clock. This is stopping time. I'll be back again on Friday, same time, 8 PM to 11 PM GMT. And I will be attempting Arvad Alone and Dethroned. Well, thank you. I appreciate that there were the two of you here, keeping me company, saying things in chat that I could respond to, as I do feel like keeping up a stream of commentary is sometimes a bit difficult. Like, if there's nothing going on and I've run out of things to say, I sometimes find it a bit difficult to come up with new things, but yes, thank you. I appreciate that you guys are watching, and I hope that you like me enough that when I move on to a new game, you'll come with me. Anyway, good night. I hope you guys are having a good week, and hope to see you next time.